I want to change it to more like a Joe Rogan style, like just open discussion.
Dude, I love it.
And kind of touch on some conspiracies. So I'm going to touch on some of that
today.
Ask
me anything.
Okay, cool. Let's start off strong. Do you think the 2020 election was rigged?
I'll just say this. You can call it rigged, shady, stolen in this way. I'm the type, I just want transparency, accountability. Now, I do like my team winning, of course. I'm competitive. So
right.
I'm a Republican, I'm a conservative. I like my team to win every time. But I'll say in 2020 a few things. When that election happened, I started to, look at, okay, because you're getting phone calls coming in, people saying, hey, my vote didn't count, all this stuff.
Yeah.
But if you look at a few things, and this is why I think it was the shadiest election, at least in my lifetime of 39 years living, is in 2010, there was a big article done in the news. Election experts on both sides, Democrats and Republicans, said the easiest way for election fraud was mail-in ballots.
Right.
They agreed.
It
right?
is.
So my whole thing is I want to look to the past, right? So in 2020, we had the biggest mail-in ballots across the nation ever. So right there, alarms should go off a little bit.
Right.
Because we weren't prepared for it. Because we were not prepared for that COVID was going to hit.
Yeah.
Then you have the Mark Zuckerberg dollars. I think about 500 million he put into a bipartisan get out the vote. What he spent, I think it was around 75 to 80% was in Democratic strongholds. So my own question, that's criminal if it's supposed to be bipartisan, right?
Yep.
So it should be 50-50. And it was not even close. So that does make it for you to doubt the 2020 election because that's not fair.
Even in our own state, didn't we have some miscounting, or have you looked into that? Yeah.
I mean, even that, and one more, and don't jump into that, is also the, in 2018, and I put these articles out right after the 2020 election because I said, hey, look, we should just want transparency. Whoever won.
Right.
But I want truth, transparency, and accountability. That's what I want. And that's been my politics since I came in 2015.
Yeah.
But 2018, there was a big article done. I don't know if it was CNN, but it was one of the big ones. It was like Nancy Pelosi, I got 3 or 4 other big names on the Democrat side who were like, these machines could be rigged. We don't know where the parts are made, where they come from, who puts them together. They said that. And then they say 2020 was the most secure election ever. Which way is it, right?
Right.
Was that political rhetoric? Or you believed it then, but then now you change your tone just because you won?
Right.
So my biggest thing is if you have nothing to hide, you should open up everything.
Right.
I'll tell you in politics, you can follow me around in public, in private. The only place you not go is my bedroom. Besides that, I'm an open book. Like if I have nothing to hide, then why would I say turn off the camera, right?
Right.
At least my beliefs.
Yeah.
And so I think the same way with the elections, just like we did an audit of, I know it was Cobb County and another county. Why not Fulton County? Fulton was where everything was pointing to and people were upset at. Just like when we had that water break, we'd heard the night of like it was I think a water line break or something. But then now I know we're being told it was like a water overflow from that morning, the toilet or something. But we never even got to the bottom of that. You know what I'm saying? And then
it's just they're not diving deeper on it.
Yeah. And my whole thing is we should love the truth because if you don't stand for accountability, transparency, then how can you trust the system on either side? And I think the same way for Democrats, as Republicans.
Yeah.
And so
I love that.
I'm big on that.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think there was some shady stuff going on. And I think it should be looked in deeper. Some of the stuff we've seen from this Democratic side of the new age is scary.
I mean, same way in Fulton County. Remember, this was after the 2020, but there was an election and this woman challenged for a recount, Democrat. And because she had no vote showed up in her precinct where she lived, her and her husband obviously had to vote. Right. And then they did a recount and she went from last to first place without a runoff. So obviously elections I'm not saying that was rigged. Right. But you can also not count it right or some glitch happen.
There can be mistakes, yeah.
Exactly. I mean, it can be human error. It could be machine error. The whole point is we should be for transparency, recount, audits, I mean, I'm huge. I've been out in the House, and I'll do it as my run for lieutenant governor, and I go win lieutenant governor. Yeah. I'm all about transparency audits. If you have nothing to hide, let's do it.
Heck yeah. So, speaking of that, running for lieutenant governor, that's a big role. If I'm correct, that's like second below governor.
Yeah, number 2 in the state.
Yeah, that's a big role. How has your campaign been running for that position?
Yeah. I mean, it's been amazing. I would not want to start back to August 12th when I launched, because when you get a campaign going, it's just... but I mean, everything from poll numbers, everything. I mean, I know I'm surging. There's 5 of us main contenders in the race, but I mean, I feel confident. I'll make the runoff, and then whoever it is, finish them off. But I'll tell you, I had no plans to run for lieutenant governor. When I launched, it shocked the political world. Because even this summer I was gone with the Green Berets. I just got out of the Special Forces about 2.5 weeks ago.
Okay.
But I was even gone this summer. I'm back, got back, and July 29th I had a call from a house colleague, and he was like, "Hey, who are you backing for LG?" And I was like, "Probably nobody." And I mean, it's because I've been down for 12 years.
Yeah.
Like, and leadership matters. And when I go in with somebody, it's because I believe in them, transparency, authenticity, accountability type people. I mean, I want the right leadership. But I told him, I was like, there is one I'm semi still looking at, but I haven't made my mind up if I even get involved, but there's one I might possibly. And he dropped a name on the phone, and I said, yeah, that's who I'm still semi looking into. And he said, well, some serious allegations are coming out on him, but if he can beat the allegations, he could be the next LG.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, well, there's no way I'm getting involved in that, because if you follow my life, my last 12 years in politics, I'm huge on transparency, accountability, and all that. I mean, massive. I mean, that's who I am. You can go Google me, ChatGPT me. I've taken stands against members of my own party.
Yeah.
To do the right thing.
I've seen that firsthand.
And so I told my wife about that night. It's her birthday on July 29th, and told her about the phone call. She goes, why don't you pray about it? Why don't you run?
Of course.
And she's like, you don't have any skeletons? And so I called my pastor. We prayed, called some of my mentors. Because, I mean, I think it's easy for us to, like, jump the gun.
Yeah.
Being passionate about something and it not being the right step to go in life.
Right.
And so we prayed about it, launched August 12th.
August 12th.
So, yeah.
How confident are you that you're going to win that?
Well, I'll say this. I'm invincible if it's God's will.
Let's go.
I kind of look at, like, if God has it for me, he'll open the doors. I mean, I know I'm surging. I mean, I know I'm traveling the state, and room after room I go, and I'm picking up sometimes the entire room. I know I am. But God knows. If it's meant to be,
of course.
I'll be there, and I believe I'm invincible as long as I'm in God's will, loving God, loving others, doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't have it, which I'm confident I am going to win this, but if not, you take it on the chin. I'd love to win. As a Green Beret, Army Ranger, like, I'm competitive. Yeah. But if God has something else, he has something else. But
yeah. Let's say you do win. Let's say you take it home and hit a grand slam and win this thing. What are some of your major things that you're running on that you want to push for day first?
Yeah. So number one, and the trouble say I've got like 10 times more passionate, is property tax. I mean, it's crushing people. I mean, it's crushing specifically seniors who are on fixed incomes who are just trying to stay in their homes, enjoy their golden years. But then you have the millennials and Gen Z like us, who can't even afford a lot of times to even buy a house. I mean, it used to be late 20s to early 30s, you bought your first house. Now it's like your late 30s to early 40s.
Early 40s.
And before you know it, it's going to be like late 40s, early 50s.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I think that's the big thing is like, how can we bring affordability back across the board? And I love to, because I mean, I think that the most evil tax is property tax, because you pay your house off and the government can still come take it. If you hit some hard times, even though you've been so wise with your money, you lose it.
Yeah, and speaking of property tax, Florida, didn't they just sign in a law eliminating it? Or
they're working on it right now.
They're working on it.
I believe to go up for a vote as a referendum this next election coming up, which I think is huge. So passionate about that, eliminating it. And the House has dropped, and I'm a co-sponsor to eliminate the property tax in the next 6 years. And I'm going to do more of a consumption tax. And then a second one is a big talk is eliminating the state income tax. But I will say, the Senate has dropped a proposal to eliminate it, but it's all red meat, at least how I see it, and I'm going to call it out, is they say they're going to eliminate it, but you have to replace that revenue with something. And they're saying that they're not going to raise sales tax, they're not going to do a state property tax. Okay, then you can't eliminate about 15 to 16 billion in state income tax, and then
there's a deficit.
It just appears. I mean, you don't just go print the money. The money doesn't go collect off a tree. And I'll say, I mean, what it's going to have to be is, we can look at Florida, Texas, Tennessee, look at the pros, the cons, what they would have done differently, and then do it the Georgia way, because every state's different, right? Whether tourism, different industries. Because I mean, I was born here, I'm going to die here, but you don't want to mess the state up, and it's an amazing state overall.
Yes, it is.
And then also, I mean, one of my opponents, who's like, oh, I've studied the state income tax for like 3 years and all this, I'm an appropriations chair. He's like, we have 30 billion in tax credits, we just cut that half of the 30 billion and 15 billion in revenue. But I'm not an economist, tax accountant, but two things I'm an expert in: common sense and sniffing out BS.
Yeah.
And it's like, not that it won't bring some revenue, but I can add 2 + 2 is 4.
Right.
And just because you cut tax credit doesn't mean that becomes automatic revenue.
Correct.
And I'm not saying we don't have tax credits that are bad and we should cut, I'm all about that.
Right.
But at the same time, every state, even Texas, doesn't have a state income tax. But when they give incentives to companies, they have it in their law that they can just give straight cash to a company as an incentive. So every state has it. Florida doesn't have a state income tax, but they give incentives. I'm not against incentives. My whole thing is, did I, say as lieutenant governor, I help bring some companies here, right? They give me money to my campaign, and I'm saying it's massive ROI, but I'm giving them all these incentives. But really, I brought them here because I hooked them up and they hooked me up.
It's a kickback.
Or is the ROI so big there? If I was in this position and I was on the other side, would it be good for my community, right? So the whole thing is doing the right thing when nobody's looking, and is it good for the community? Is it fiscally responsible, and for generations to come, is it going to pay off for good?
Yeah, and to touch on that, I mean, it seems like it's kind of a dream in the air to eliminate property tax. I mean, how likely do you think that is to happen in Georgia if we fight for it?
No, I think it's huge, and here's what I love. Now I'm running for lieutenant governor, because a big reason why I'm running too, on top of why I told you, the three people who call the shots, the speaker, lieutenant governor, and governor.
Yep.
They call the shots because the lieutenant governor and the speaker are the ones that call the bills up, but they don't call them up, right?
Yeah.
They have massive influence in their chambers. And I think since they signed it, you've told the public, you're all about it. Everybody almost co-sponsored it.
Yeah.
In both chambers, whether it's property tax or state income tax.
Heck yeah.
So now you're feet to the fire. And as lieutenant governor, I'm going to remind them every single day. and my colleagues, hey, you signed it.
Yeah.
We got to finish the drill.
Yeah.
And I think the property tax, we definitely can. But I mean, it's all about with the property tax, it would turn into a consumption type tax. I mean, the whole point is you need a certain amount of revenue, but you can do it in the best way to where it gives the affordability, but you're also getting the revenue, and when it becomes more of a consumption tax, then that's on you on how much you go out and just spend and all that, right?
Right.
When if it's a property tax, even if you hit a hard time, you can start trying to spend less, but you still get hit with the property tax.
Right.
Right. So it offsets. And I believe too is we have massive, in every state it happens, waste, fraud, and abuse.
Yep.
I mean, I chaired a welfare fraud study committee in 2015.
And it's coming to light right now as we see it in Minnesota.
And it's not just Minnesota. I believe it's happening here. I mean, every state has its corruption. Because I remember in 2015 when I chaired the welfare fraud study committee, this blew my mind. From 2004 to 2014, this is just one program.
Okay.
Food stamps, improperly paid out, should have never been paid out. Guess how much was paid out?
How much?
In 10 years.
I'm going to say over 100 million, maybe $1 billion.
Almost exactly $1 trillion. So you tell me, and $1 trillion's a lot. I mean, we could break that. I mean, people don't realize what $1 trillion is.
Yeah.
And so my thing is that's one program. Nationwide.
Yep.
And so imagine how many other programs, federal, state, and my whole thing is I care about the poor. My family, my 9 siblings, we grew up with like nothing.
Yep.
My parents do okay now and bought the first house in the 40s.
You have 9 siblings?
Yeah, 6 brothers, 3 sisters.
Wow.
And then out of the 7 boys, 4 of us served in the military, 3 in the Army during the War on Terror, front lines, and then 1 served in the Navy.
Awesome. Yeah, I grew up rough. It's a big family.
So I think, I mean, even with that, like I have a heart for when you have nothing. I'm not going to forget where I come from.
Right.
Even though, I mean, I'm not filthy rich. I'm not a millionaire. Me and my wife pay our bills and do well. But it's like, I'm not going to forget where I came from. And the average Georgian, average American is living paycheck to paycheck. Right? And it's like, your heart needs to be to never forget where you come from and those who are hurting every day. And it's like, how do you bring that American dream back?
Right.
Because I think if we can't tackle this affordability, like ASAP, I'm talking ASAP, in 28 when the majority of the vote is millennials and Gen Z, us, if you can't afford to live, provide for a family, put a roof over your kids' heads and put food on the table and clothes on their back, you're going to get pressured, even if you're a conservative, to go towards socialism because if you see no future and you're so desperate to provide for your family, you can do whatever you have to do.
It's so true.
Yeah.
And Democrats sell that dream of free, have the easy life. You don't have to work hard. But in reality, it is, we live in a nation where you can work hard and make big things happen. You don't have to live paycheck to paycheck.
Yep.
And
I think the big one too is like, I don't know all the answers, but I think a great leader, you want to bring around you people who are way smarter than you.
Yep.
Because, I mean, any great leader like Ronald Reagan, he was not great because he knew everything. Trump's not doing a good job, he knows everything. It's when you bring great people around you and you're willing to sit down and listen to them. And then also, I think you need to know there's 2 things that I know I have is common sense, sniffing out BS.
Yeah.
And then your job is when you push that policy, you're willing to take it on the chin as a leader for good or bad, and you take accountability regardless of who advised you.
Yeah.
You're the one that decides and gives the command.
So true, and I feel like people my age are starting to wake up. I mean, after this Charlie Kirk assassination, the Epstein files being released, I think people are starting to see through the BS, kind of what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, how do you think the assassination of Charlie Kirk kind of shaped our country as it is now?
Yeah, I mean, I think for the conservative movement, it woke up our generation, Gen Z.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is like being bold. Like, you go watch Charlie Kirk, you know, agree or disagree on every single thing, like we're all human beings. But I mean, he really was. I mean, you listen to his whole message, it was all about, you know, truth, but wanting to talk, have debates, open discussions on any topic, even if we disagree, because it's good for us. And I always tell people this: if you want to make America truly great, you know, go with a "Make America Great Again," and I always tell young people this: no matter if it's Democrat, Republican, sit in front of me, young people, is like, we should be able to debate every single thing. And whether it's, you know, is marriage between a man and a woman, you know, gay, trans stuff, pro-life, pro-choice.
Right.
Like, if I love you and you love me, and you have your beliefs, I have my beliefs, I don't want to kill you, you don't want to kill me, you don't hate me, I don't hate you, then why is it wrong to discuss every single thing and discuss our beliefs? It should make us better. Even if you and I get up and totally disagree, but I get to know you as a human being, and you get to know me as a human being, and knowing that I don't hate you and you don't hate me,
Right.
then we walk away better people, at least understanding each other, you know, because you can't put yourself in somebody else's shoe. Man, I tell people I'm absolutely pro-life, but somebody who says, oh, well, I'm pro-choice, when you listen to them, maybe where they came from, not that I believe in what they're pushing, but listen to why they believe what they believe, or their life story, their childhood, you know, it helps you understand just where they're coming from, you know, and I think it makes us better. So, I mean, I want to see, and I'll say as Lieutenant Governor, I want to have all types of forums where you just sit down and you just discuss things, everything.
Yeah.
Even things that could be just out of left field. How's it bad just to discuss it? Because I think the more we discuss things, the truth always rises to the top.
It does. Open dialogue is the best. That's how you get to the bottom of everything, and that's how you find a common ground.
Because now we try to always like silence everything. Like, well, you don't look like me, or we don't agree, so therefore you're not my friend.
Yeah.
And I mean, in the military, when I put my uniform on, it was never like when went overseas, went into combat, oh, I'm fighting for Republicans, or I'm fighting for these people.
Right.
No, it's for the American people. And I think we need to get back to, it's like one country, one flag, one family.
Yeah.
You know, and family, I had 6 brothers and 3 sisters. Me and the 7 boys, we went to war all the time. Mm-hmm. You know, like we're boys. We fought, but then at the end, we'd go hug and love each other.
Yep.
So, I mean, I think we need to get back to that.
I agree. I totally agree. And speaking on that, let's talk about you being a Green Beret.
Yeah.
Correct? Did I say that correctly? Yep. Tell me a little bit about that experience. When did you enlist? What did that look like for you?
Yeah, so out of high school, I served 6 years in the military, and then deployed and all that, got out in 2012. And then 2019, while being in politics, because I came in the house in 2015, joined the Green Berets. While in politics, went to Fort Bragg, and so from 2019 to just this past January, I got out out of the Green Berets. But something I always wanted to do. I mean, I almost did it my first time when I was originally in.
Right.
And you can't. What's crazy in life, though, I think God opens the right doors, and because I got out, and even to this day, I'm like, why did I get out? Because I was headed towards selection for the Green Berets back when I was in the first time, and I don't know, my life just for some reason I closed that door. But then I went and met my wife, my 3 kids, Madison, Miles, and Maverick. So I was still able to, in the end, accomplish so far everything I've wanted to accomplish, and I just love serving this country, military, because my mom taught me how to read. I jumped into history. You know, every history book, founding fathers. And when you research who America truly is, the good, the bad, the ugly, it's the greatest country on the face of the earth. Yeah. It
is, undoubtedly.
When people try to trash us, that's why we have to educate the next generation. It's like, I could debate people for hours in a nice way, but when you understand the world history, like, there's nothing so beautiful as America. Yeah. You know, the only country to ever, you know, have a fight over slavery, you know, and we end slavery. We were the first country to ban the slave trade, and then the 3rd country in the world to ban slavery. Mm-hmm. Of all countries in the world. I mean, how is that not beautiful? How is that not amazing? So when you know the history of America, it's like, inspires you, know, to step up and love your country and go serve. So I loved it.
I want to ask you this, with your background in the military, do you have any opinion or any thoughts on the recent UAP and UFO releasings?
I mean, I always take everything with a grain of salt. Like, people ask me all types of questions, unless I can go look at all the evidence,
Right.
look at everything. Like, I'm talking like hands-on, you know, like I want to see it. I mean, I take it with a grain of salt. I mean, could be, could not be, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm the type, I mean, maybe so, but like, what I can handle right now in front of me is what I'm going to handle.
Yeah.
You know.
As you should be, because you're on a mission to better the state.
Yeah.
So I get that. I just wanted to ask, kind of pick your brain about it.
But I mean, I love to hear people who dig more into it.
Yeah.
And like, hey, you know, I researched this. I mean, I'd love to learn, hear things.
Yeah.
Because we live in a crazy world. And I mean, I'm always an open mind.
Yeah.
To, is that true? Could that be?
Right.
But then I always take, but I mean, I try to handle what I have right in front of me and what I can affect.
Yeah.
And go about and try to do some good.
Yeah. All right, David, sorry, we just got interrupted by Joe, the owner of Ash and Barrel. Shout out to Ash and Barrel here on the Clarksville Square for hosting this podcast. Come check them out. But touching back on, I think the last question I asked you was, what would you say to a 20-year-old maybe interested getting into the world of politics? I feel like a lot of people are just kind of, they're not interested in it. They feel like we're in a world, we're in a nation of decay. I mean, how do you feel about that?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'd say, and I talk a lot about that. I mean, are we a nation decay? And I think we all would raise our hands, no matter who you are. We're big. We got massive problems going on. And I think the core of why that's happening is this. You study history, and my mom taught me how to read. She's the one that taught me how to read. And I got, you know, every book I could get my hands on history, our nation, our founding fathers, right? And it's a big reason why I joined the military and became a Green Beret. But I think when you look at the Declaration of Independence, it's a huge part of who we are as a nation. Because you look at these men on there, and if you go study them, all of them prominent men, some of them filthy rich, wealthy, richest men in America. And you go look at those names, but one that stands out is John Hancock. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's a huge signature, right? Yeah. And I don't know if you've ever wondered, but like, you know, you look at it and you go, why did he sign it so big? And I think it's because he was a merchant. So when he signed it, he was willing to give his today for our tomorrow. Because the moment he signed it, the British took his ships, right? Because they controlled the seas. But he was willing to do that. And I wonder this is today, I think it's a big problem with the decay of this nation, is if you held up a blank Declaration of Independence to all elected officials, Democrats, Republicans, both sides, and I'm in politics myself, so, but if you asked all of them, hey, will you be the original signers of the Declaration of Independence right now? You know, you could be hung for treason, you could be killed, lose your family, lose your house, lose your wealth, everything. Because it happened to a lot of them. If you go study them, a number of them, it did happen to them.
Yeah.
And all of them were willing to give that up because they knew what treason was, because you took on the British, the greatest empire the world had ever known at that time. Yeah. And I think today, the majority of politicians on both sides would say, you know what, I've done enough for God and country, and I'm going to go home. And I think most of them would say, I'm going to resign right now.
Yeah.
Because I think too many today live for a title and for what it gets them, than to go serve and give everything.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem. It's like, I mean, are you living for yourself? Or are you living because you want to fight and do the right thing and protect the American dream? And I think that's the problem today.
That's so good.
And I think we just need to get back in purpose and knowing who we are and why we're fighting for what we fight for. I mean, go look at Nathan Hale, who was a spy for George Washington. You know, he's like 21 years old. And when they're going to hang him, he said, you know, I regret that I have but one life to give my country. It's like, doesn't he get back? He was 21. You know, no family, no kids. He had a whole future to look towards, but he was willing to give it. And he regretted that only he had but one life to give. And I think if we get back to that as millennials and Gen Z with that type of purpose and vision, imagine what America could become again, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what fires me up is, you know, from the past and sacrifice.
That tells so much about you, David, just in that one statement. I mean, so many of these people are here for power, money, the role, you know, the title, like you said. They're not here to lay their life down for this country and do what they actually are there to do. Because
I think, too, is like, it kind of hits me as like, I think it's so easy, and especially us, you know, being younger, it's like, oh, I'm going to be here forever, right?
Right.
You don't like contemplate death and all this. Or it's easy for a lot of us who are millennials and Gen Z, but like, I have a mixture of like my faith, you know, in God and the Bible, but then also the time of season combat is like, I know tomorrow's not promised.
Right.
And so it's like, I know one day, and it could be tomorrow, I don't know, hopefully I live for decades to come and see my kids grow up. But it's like, one day I'm going to die and I'm going to stand before my God. And he's going to roll a film of not what I did in public, because we all put our best foot forward, right? That's just what, it's not a bad thing, but we're going to put our best foot forward in public. But it's who are you behind closed doors when nobody's looking? And that's what I believe God's going to truly judge all of us on. It's my belief. You know, what you said, what you did behind closed doors. And I think it matters, and specifically even in politics.
Yep.
You know, it's like you have that healthy fear and respect of knowing tomorrow's not promised, and one day you can stand before your Maker, and He's going to judge you. And I think that's what we lost in our nation too. Is, you know, people used to have more of a healthy respect of knowing tomorrow's not promised. And I think we've gotten into this world of materialistic stuff, and it's like, oh, I'm going to live forever, you know, and you just live for the cars, the house, you know, the likes on social media, instead of, you know, living the moment, knowing tomorrow's not promised. What good can I do today? And I think we can get that back and focus on loving God, loving others, doing the right thing. I think America would just ignite for good. In all of our communities, our state and nation. So
I completely agree. David, you have my vote just from that one thing.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I love that. Okay, now I heard there was some controversy maybe with you and the Speaker of the House in Georgia.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that?
The former Speaker of the House, not the Speaker now, John Burns, former Speaker of the House. So that's a big thing why I run in this campaign. I would say I'm the only battle-tested candidate running in this election, whether it's in defense of my nation overseas, in combat, whether it's taking on the left and the radical ideology. But the third one, which gets to your point, is are you willing to stand up to members of your own party? It matters. I mean, I think that's why we're a nation decay also, on top of me talking about the Declaration of Independence and all that, is are you willing to stand up and be alone when you know it's the right thing to do? And so in 2019, I just got a chairmanship from the former Speaker of the House. And so that means you go to chairman lunches, dinners, you preside over a committee. It's a big deal in politics. And I just got it, and about a month and a half later, in the AJC, an article came out about the former Speaker of the House. At that time, he was a speaker. He had tweaked a 100-year law in 2005 before I came in. And it used to be for 100 years, if you're an attorney in the House or the Senate, you could use a continuance in session to push a court cases to after session. Because we're in session January to like 1st of April, and it's like 24/7. You really can't do anything else, which makes sense, right? For 100 years, you could push a court cases to handle that after session. Well, he tweaked it. You could do it all year long. Simply by sending a letter, even the day of court, to the judge, saying, I'm busy doing people's business. Is all you had to say, and he would just excuse you. So he had pedophiles, rapists, domestic abusers hiring him in his law practice, and he was holding cases up 10 to 15 years old.
Wow.
And this one jumped out. This young girl, she was 11, named Haley, got raped and had not had a day in court in almost 10 years. And me and my wife had just had Madison 6 months prior. And I mean, if you're a dad who has a little girl, that's daddy's girl. You mess with her, wrath is coming. There's punishment. And I'm thinking, like, what if that was my girl? And for a few days, I mean, I couldn't sleep, and I'm going, I can imagine what her dad's, you know, going through. And anyways, I knew I had to talk to the speaker, and I went in his office. I mean, I was definitely a little bit nervous. I mean, he was a powerful man. I'd been there for like 12 years.
Yeah.
And I went in there, and I said, Jesus loves you. I love you. Thank you for my chairmanship, all my committees. I said, but what came out in the AJC is wrong. And I said, you know, we all run in politics saying we're going to fight for you and your families as if in my own. Because we all say that in some form or fashion. And I said, who am I as a man to stay silent? And I said, if that was my little girl who got raped in 10 years, had no day in court, in almost 10 years, I'd kill you and the rapist. I'm just being honest. And who am I as a man to stay silent? I said, I got to call you out. And so I called him out. He stripped me of my chairmanship, all my committees. He left me on the committee I presided over, I guess, to put it in my face, which I still do again. It was the right thing. I mean, you be a voice. I mean, the Bible says it's better to hang a millstone around your neck and go drown yourself than hurt a child.
Right.
I put that with women, the weaker, right? Like, as a man, you're supposed to defend, I believe. And I'll take that literally. Like, I'm going to always do that.
Yeah.
And so I called him out. He stripped all that. And then 22, we had the redrawing of the districts, you know, across the state. Mm-hmm. And
that's when you got moved from the 98th to the 100th.
Yeah, to the 100th. And the majority caucus chair, woman, is the one who drew the districts, the battleground. She drew us in the same district. And I got called up with the Green Berets. I was gone, off, no phone, off the grid. Gave my wife power of attorney. She was pregnant with Miles II at that time. I came back a week before the election and won 60-40, and they spent almost exactly $1 million in a state house race against me. I spent 18-1 and won 60-40. Wow. So now I say I should have been out of politics. You know, I give it to God and I give it to the voters. Because, I mean, technically, with that type of money and being off the grid, not even being here for the campaign.
That's big.
But I think what I hope it inspires, and even I go win this seat, is to my generation, to everyone, but especially my generation and the Gen Zs, and younger, kids coming up, it's like, you can stand on your convictions. You can stand on what you believe is right. You can stand for victims. You can stand alone, and you can still win,
Right.
and overcome. And even if I hadn't overcome back in the day, you still do the right thing.
Of course.
Because tomorrow's not promised. But that was not a fun time, but it grew me. It helped me grow into who I am today.
Right.
And never forgetting, you always stand for those who have no voice.
Yeah.
No matter the party. We can debate policy, but justice, standing up to corruption, having transparency has to be the number one thing that we love. And we must love the truth.
Right.
Even if you don't like to hear the truth. I mean, there are times people might call me out for something, or
Most people don't like the truth. It hurts them,
But it grows you. I always tell people oxygen. Encouragement is oxygen to the soul. So every human being needs that. But you also need criticism.
Yeah.
Good criticism, because it grows you, it matures you. The moment you stop wanting criticism, wanting to mature, you die as a human being. It doesn't matter what age you are. You should always be striving to be a better person, to grow, to mature, and be willing to be wrong.
That's so good. Well, David, we'll wrap it up here. Maybe I give you a 30-second floor to tell the camera, tell the people of Georgia, why they should vote for you in this upcoming election.
Yeah, definitely. I would just say, if you vote for me May 19th, I'll be the most upfront, transparent, statewide elected official you've ever had. And would love to earn your vote. You can go to votedavidclark.com to learn more about me. And God bless.